Hello, wealthy, successful, money making traders. This is your trader's friend. Thank you for joining me for another video, guys. I'm so glad you can be here with me. And today I want to talk to you about how I almost gave all of my profits back in just a few days. So at the end of this month, and I definitely would have been better off not trading. I thought, it's the end of the month. I probably should not be trading, but I was like, oh, I'm going to be careful. In about 3 days' time, I gave back so much of my profit. I actually thought I ended the month in a loss. But I got my statement today and realized that I ended up with just a little over 0.5% in profit. And in telling you this, the most important thing I want to remind you of is capital preservation. Trade your rules no matter what. And had I ended the month, and I'm just going to show you one of these pairs. So those were the 4 pairs I traded. And so this was the event. On all of these pairs, I just made stupid money on this. Just stupid money. And I was so glad. So I was looking. This is just a little bit over an hour's worth of price action. And so I was looking for that continuation. And I just hunted for it all week because I just knew that something that powerful, we were going to move. But instead, we ended up with chop and price going the other way. It still did not um, well, actually, it did come back down to touch it. On some pairs it did, some pairs it did not. So it did break the low of that on this pair. The most important thing for you to remember, and you can see I did this in like all of the pairs. Some went up, some went down, but on all of these pairs, it was just crazy money. But that was the end of the money for the week, and that was on the 28th. Had I stopped there, I would have made a killing in the market this month. But 2 things I made a mistake in. Didn't know I was making a mistake in. One, chasing that initial high and trading at the end of the month. But I said it was 2 things. That would be considered one. The other thing was moving to a time frame that I thought would be more beneficial because people keep saying, oh, move to a bigger time frame, move to a bigger time frame. And I thought, okay, I'll trade less. That's less commission. I will not have to be in front of the screen as much and all of that. But what I discovered is that I trade best when I trade the way that works for me. So that's one thing that nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you how to have your own trading style. That's something you have to figure out for yourself. Because with this, in the 15-minute time frame, and let me pause this so I can find a good example because this was really giving it to me. These are just a few examples. But what I would find a lot of times is I would get into the trade and then in 30 or 45 minutes, the trade is reversing on me. So I would initially, my entry would be right, but I would end up losing money because I was holding the trade too long. Didn't realize that I was in a swinging market at the time. And by the time I figured out, oh, we're just in a range bound market or in a chart. When I looked at it on the 5-minute time frame, had I traded this same nonsensical price action on the 5-minute time frame, I would have known to get out sooner. But my expectation for a continuation in the market was so strong, and my desire for a trend is um, was so strong that I missed these things. So you would go up like this, for example. That's 30 minutes worth of price action. You come right back to the same spot. Pretty much the market was going nowhere. So I was cutting bad trades left and right. And I do want to remind you of this. If they trick you, and they will trick you, I almost gave back a month's worth of profit in 3 days. You never let them trap you. Never let them trap you. That is the most important thing. Your number one job in the market is capital preservation. And then you build profit on top of that. But you cannot build profit without first preserving your capital. Now I want to remind you, even though I ended the market in less than half, no, less than a percent worth of profit this month. I'm laughing about it now. At the time, I was not so happy. But I thank God that I ended in profit. It's more than I would have gotten in interest from the bank. So I'm okay. It wasn't the stellar month it started out being. But following your rules is the most, or following your rules is the most important thing to your trading. You trade a consistent plan with discipline. You enter the market when your setup tells you to enter. You exit when it tells you to exit, and never let them trap you. I want to remind you that you can absolutely do this. You can be successful at Forex. Enjoy an amazing, wonderful holiday.